have one watcher. Is that you?
Nope.
We have one watcher. Is that you?
Test, test. I'm on the blue mic, not the green. Blue mic, not the green. All right, BHS, I'll invite you to take your seats. BHS, for our speaker today. Always love waking up at the crack of dawn. Even before the crack of dawn. Today I woke up at 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock. BHS is a group for spiritually minded business owners, and I've really enjoyed being a member of this group as a board member for a long time. And coming to an end with my participation here, but I've really enjoyed everything that I've done, which has given back to me, and so we invite you, whether you're here in person or online, to settle in for our presentation today called Empathy in the Workplace. And our speaker today has trained mental health professionals and college students. He's been a speaker and a trainer for over 10 years. So please help me welcome your speaker, J.R. Kuo. And I'll make sure your microphone is turned on.
All right.
All right. Yep, that's on. We're just going to turn it on and back.
Sounds good.
Oh, sorry, I'm right up here.
All right, can you testing? Awesome. Thank you, Anthony. So I know all of you just sat down, and I'm going to ask all of you to please stand up again and go back there and form a circle. So I know, how rude am I interrupting your breakfast? Can be same spot, different spot, it's totally up to you. So please make a circle around me. And I could be, and actually, please give yourself a little bit room on the side. You don't have to hold hands. In fact, this is a little bit going to be opposite from holding hands. Not too much space. Just enough space that you can connect with the other person or the people next to you. What I'm going to ask you to do is please put your left hand out like this, flat to your side, like this, out, flat to your side, left, and I'm going to ask you, please put your right thumb on the hand that's on your right side. So it's like this, on this. Yes. So connect. Yeah, connect. So make sure the hand is below the thumb. Your paw, not paw, like the paw. I have a little mini go to doodle. So somehow I confuse human anatomy with animal anatomy. All right. The purpose of this. It's on three. The purpose of this. You are going to grab the thumb that's on your hand. At the same time, you have to escape. All right? I'm going to repeat this again. You're going to grab the thumb that's currently on your left hand. You're going to try to escape. So on three. This is a test run, right? No big deal. So 1, 2. On 3. 2. 2.6. 2.73. Anyone got it? Awesome. All right, one more time. And this time it's going for real. Because if you lose, I'm going to judge you so hard. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. No. So again, on 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh. And then all right. If you want to screw with your mind a little bit, let's flip it. So your right hand is flat, left thumb out. All right, and this round's going to be for real again, for real. All right. So I know some of you thinking, oh, this is too early for this exercise. All right, 1, 2, 3, go. You cheated. Awesome. So very fast. Tell me, what was this exercise like? Goofy. Fun. Confusing. Different. Exactly like this. What else?
It had trust element because we had to do it. We had no idea what point it.
Exactly. There's that trust element, that almost like that leap of faith a little bit. What else? Connection, thank you. Uncomfortable, thank you. White ball brains. Yeah.
Hilarious.
Huh?
Hilarious.
Exactly. Connect. Painful, yes.
I felt competition energy.
Competition, which is good. So I love to start out my workshop with speech with this exercise. Why? Because when talking about mental health, diversity, inclusion, it can be very, very kind of uncomfortable, right? Because I bet you none of us grew up talking about mental health. Well, maybe not even diversity and inclusion, not that much, especially with mental health. And just like this exercise, I bet you none of you woke up this morning thinking that, you know what, I'm going to grab someone's thumb today. No, life just happened, right? Something with mental health, something with diversity and inclusion, especially in our workplace. If you run a small company, you know that things every day is going to be different, especially if you have employees. And at the center, just like this exercise, it could be competition. It requires a little bit of faith. It could be a little bit confusing. It could be fun, hilarious. At the center, we are all connected in a way, whether we like it or not. We are all connected. So the message here that I want to present is that, first of all, we are not alone. When it comes to mental health and diversity and inclusion, we're not alone, we are all connected. And when talking about mental health and diversity and inclusion, it doesn't always have to be confusing or hard or stigma. It can be fun, it can be silly, right? Because I love this phrase, I forgot who said this, that conversation around mental health and diversity and inclusion often is very uncomfortable topics, right? But suffering is optional. Suffering is optional. So thank you all. Give yourself all a round of applause. Thank you. Let's sit back down. All right. This thing is, can you help me to? Yeah. Oh, I think I got it. I just hook it.
Do you want it on your?
I want it right next to your phone. So I have to put it down.
Right here. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. So, first of all, thank you all for being here. Thank you so much. And I want to specifically thank Anthony for this opportunity to present your work with you all. So thank you. So my name is J.R. Guo, and here's a little bit about me. I was born in Taiwan, a little country in Asia. Nowadays, since the war in Ukraine, Taiwan being pretty like popular topic. And so when I was 9 years old, I moved from Taiwan to Los Angeles. So I pretty much grew up in California between San Francisco and Los Angeles. And long time ago, I went to CU Boulder. And then from there, after I graduated, I got a job in Hawaii. I worked there for a couple of years. Again, it's beautiful, it's paradise. And I came back, got my master's at Regis University. From there, I started working for this amazing organization called NEPIMA, where I started my mental health journey, both personally and professionally. And this is what NEPIMA does, is advocate mental health wellness for Asian Americans, Pacific Islanders, and Native Hawaiians. This is literally kickstart my professional speaking career, especially in mental health. And from there, I took a break and I started working. I got offer from this company called DAS Integrator, a construction company. Literally, overnight, I became a CEO. I helped the company grow from 8 employees to 48 employees after I left. But after a while, after 3 years working there, I realized that this is not it. I don't care about construction. I don't care about managing, supervising, firing, hiring people. And what my really passion is, I love working with people. My passion is in mental health, in advocating for diversity and inclusion. So I started my own company about 6 years ago called Coffee with JR. And this is exactly what I do. And throughout my last 12, 15 years of professional speaking, I've spoken at over 50 different universities. I have worked with dozens of small companies, large companies, including a couple of Fortune 100 companies. So this is a little bit about me. So when I was working at DAS Integrator, again, me coming from mental health background, one thing I noticed that a lot of times, let me give you one specific example. One of my project managers would come in and at first always happy, hardworking, show up on time, submit reports on time. And after a while, I noticed that he would start coming in late. I don't see my reports. When I talk to him, the energy is really low. And I consulted with the company's lawyer. And I even asked, should I address a little bit about emotional health? Specifically men's mental health and emotional health. And this person is also a person of color. Should I also address some sort of maybe something that might happen on the job site? Maybe some discrimination, some sort of harassment. And my lawyer straight out told me that don't even go there. That's a liability. And this is 6, 7 years ago. This is 8 years ago, right? Before COVID, before George Floyd, before all that. So I kept my mouth shut. Instead, my HR manager, the HR company that we hired, told me that I had to reprimand my project manager. I had to make sure that, this is a professional setting, right? The moment you step into the work, you have to leave all your emotion behind. You have to be professional. We don't talk about emotion. We don't talk about mental health. Guess what? That's what I did. I was young and stupid. And guess what? His performance just keep going down and down and down. And at last, the owner decided to let him go. And looking back, I regret it a lot. Why? Because,
You didn't listen.
I didn't listen to myself. And I did not listen to him. I did not. He did show signs that he wanted to talk. He needed someone to talk. He needed someone to validate his experience, whatever going on in his personal life. I'm not sure to diagnose. He could probably go through some depression, maybe. Maybe there's something going on with his family that he has no one to talk to. And if I could have just spent that 15 minutes, listen to him, asking what's going on, and validate whatever's going on, his emotional reaction. And also turns out that, yes, he did experience discrimination on job site. People calling him names, racial slurs. And of course, he didn't want to talk about it because it was embarrassment. And this is the point I want to make, is that a lot of time when it comes to work, environment, culture, the key word here that I want to really focus on is how can we take a deep breath, take a step back, and just validate our employees' experience, what they're going through, whether we agree or not. That's secondary. How can we just sit there and listen to them? And the second part is, how can we ask, what can I do? How can I help? So that is just a premise. So I am going to go, I do have prepared slides. I was supposed to prepare that segment was supposed to share later on, but I just kind of jumped the gun because I got so excited. So today's learning objectives is just pretty much we're going to refresh your leadership style. And we're going to learn a little bit more about adaptive and supportive leadership style, which is going back to what I was saying. How can we validate, acknowledge, not only our employees, but people around me, what their experience like, and provide practical support. And these are acknowledgement, these are the books, people, individuals, organizations that have inspired me to put together this workshop. So, all right. I kind of want you to, if you all can't do this just for a couple minutes, share among yourselves. I knew I was leader when. So, do you all prefer to share in small group or in a whole group? Huh? Small group. Sumo group. Awesome. Go for it. Preferably group of 3 or 4. So you all have 5 minutes. 5 minutes. So again, I knew I was a leader when.
Oh, wow.
Was all friends getting
Oh, and there you go.
I knew I was a leader.
I knew it.
I say hi. You're so sweet. Hey, little baby. Oh, hi. You're so cute.
So, but I asked about for a number of reasons.
or you'll have 1 more minute. So whoever hasn't shared yet, please share.
I'll go.
All right, let's gather back. Let's gather back. Any of you want to share what your group discussed? Yes, please.
I will share because it made me cry. But for me, I came from corporate America, which I'm still kind of new to the group. You guys don't know that, and had to run companies for other people. So I've had thousands of people that reported to me. And the two moments that really made me realize I was a leader and made a difference was the very first corporate job I left. One of my managers gave me this silver coin from 2005, which is the year I started. And she gave that to me to remind me that that was the year I changed her life as a manager. And that she would work for me anywhere, not the company. And I've had that job that I left, I had at least 10 people on that team say and call me when I got my new job and said, how can I work for you at this company? And the next day I left, the same thing happened. Not how can I work for that company, but what jobs do you have where I can work for you?
Beautiful.
So I think that made me feel like I was leading.
Beautiful. Thank you. Exactly. You pretty much you just shared proves that people leave jobs not because of the company, because of managers. People stay because of co-workers and managers. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else? Yes, please.
Can you repeat what she said for the people who are watching?
Oh, yes. So she said that when she left, your supervisor,
One of my supervisors.
yeah, gave her a coin from 2005. That's where she changed that supervisor's life. And a lot of people under you wanted to follow her in the future. Like, so because she's such an amazing manager, leader. Thank you. Yes, please.
We talked about the difference between realizing that we were leaders and feeling like we had become leaders. So there were two different feelings of how we knew it.
Yes.
Some of us have always felt like, thank you, Maria. Some of us have always felt like we were leaders and identified with that, and some of us felt like we became leaders when certain goals were accomplished.
Yes. That realization and that when you become one. And something you just naturally become one without realizing. And for some people, they need to think about, oh my God, do I really want to be a leader?
Some of us knew it.
So thank you. How about this? Anyone else?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool because we have the women over here, but having the perspective of someone who went to an all-girls high school and the confidence that really allows to blossom, and then kind of being thrust into leadership as a single mom, and then for me, like having other people think I was a leader, like ask me to be a president of. I can remember I've been back in high school and through college. And being asked to be the president, and I was like, no, I'll be the vice president. Or no, I'll be a co-president. And so it's just interesting how, just having the confidence or the necessity of having to step into that role.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. And so it's so interesting having that experience of having it like an all-girls school. I know that's maybe foreign to dudes in this room, but we will always be her because we're trained to.
Yeah.
And when you're in an all-girls environment, you just get on. And that just explains so much about Allison's.
Yeah.
And how much
Yeah.
that was just interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you brought an amazing point that we probably won't have time to address this. You mentioned about like you become a leader as a single mom. There's oftentimes we not talk about, but oftentimes in leadership in this country is so patriarchal. It's so male dominant. We think that we have to be strong, whatever, extrovert. But no, at the same time, leadership is also our personal life, our family life, community life. And oftentimes, yes, in this country or in over the world, women will have more dominant roles. And due to sexism, we often neglect them. We think that, nah, that's not leadership. And I just call that is bullshit for me. Anyway, excuse my language. So, so thank you for that. Can we get one more before we move on? Anyone else?
Oh, I was noticing.
You can sweat up for the microphone. Yeah, thank you.
So I was going to say, when I was here as a preschool music teacher, I noticed that children naturally have a way of handling situations that we think we're not children right here, but we're all going to revert at some point. You know, if someone takes the last cookie or whatever, you know, the kid in me will come out. But children know, and so I was able to point out, you know, lining up as a thing.
Yes.
And the kids would clamor to be the leader, and typically those actually were not children. And when you can point that out to the room, to the children, I learned so much teaching them because I would say, wait a minute, what does it mean? And I think your indication that you are being a good leader is you're listening to something deeper, noticing, and people are following you.
Yes.
And so, which I would say to the children, well, if the goal is to get down the hall to music, and you guys are lining up, who's in line right now? Who's the leader right now?
Mm-hmm.
Does the leader have to be at the front of the room? The children will look around and they know.
Yeah,
Listening, I think, makes you right.
exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for sharing. Thank you. So, yeah, being leader, it's just, again, it's so diverse. And there's so many ways that we can be a leader. And here's just a definition. I can skip this and can skip this. And this is something that I really want you all to take a second to look at it. Have you all familiar with this book called Quiet, written by Susan Cain? So oftentimes it talks about how our country, our corporate system, our leadership is built around extroverts. The loudest people gets most attention, most funding, most resources, and get promoted fast. Whether you like it, whether you think it's right or wrong, I'm not diving into that. I understand what we are trying to advocating is that no leadership. There's so many other things, qualities require empathy, praise your team, self-awareness, right? Respect for yourself and respect for others. So, and again, I'm just going to skip this. This is just some common leadership style, right? There's a dictatorship, more democratic, more bureaucracy, and charismatic. And I think when I just mentioned these words, I bet you in your head, you already can think or see certain leaders that we know of, could be politicians that fit these categories. So what I want to talk a little bit more about is the pain of running a small business. Because it's the turnover. That is probably one of the biggest pain. Because data have shown that for an employee to leave, to rehire a new person, costs anywhere between $15,000 to $55,000, depends on the position. Just for the financial itself, it's costly. And also it's costly for the morale, for the corporate culture, or the company culture. And why employees stay? These are the reasons. I think rationally, we know about all this. Right? Of course, money is huge. Everyone say that they want to get paid. But according with research, is that oftentimes employees stay is that they feel involved, they feel appreciated, they feel empowered. A good friend of mine, actually Yeah, good friend of mine. He took a pay cut. He works in IT. He took a pay cut because he feels more appreciated, involved with his new company. On top of that, he gets to work remotely full time. Right? So yes, money, don't get me wrong, I love money. I think everyone loves money. But at the same time, there's so many other reasons that why people stay, why people do things, what motivates people. So, and this is kind of tie into diversity and inclusion. Why do diverse employees leave? And these are the common reasons. And I just want to focus on number one, lack of validation. Lack of validation. A lot of time, we, employee of color, it could be females, LGBTQ folks, we often that there's, due to so many different discrimination, stigma, that there's so many labels tied to us, right? As a Chinese Asian person, I've been labeled, I'm like, whenever there's some, when I was younger, working for different companies, whenever there's Excel spreadsheet or math questions, it just came to me. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Right? And I would joke around. It's still so true. Just on Sunday, I went to my local bar, restaurant, have a drink. This person sat next to me, asked me, do I gamble? I'm like, I don't gamble. But, oh, you should. You are really good with math. I'm like, whoa, and stats. And I literally said that if this stereotype is called model minority myth, if this stereotype is true, that I'm really good with math, engineer, I wouldn't be standing in front of you all and talking to you all. I would be running Google, FYI. I would have my own spaceship right now. So I know that's a stupid joke, but anyway. So just using myself. And just imagine other people of color, LGBTQ folks, females, right? With female employees, when they have become more assertive, confident, we often view them as bitch, right? Because lack of validation. Why? Because of histories of discrimination, of this labeling on these people. And we've been fighting for our rights, of course. So oftentimes people say that we are all equal. Yes, to some extent. At the same time, there's a lot of hidden bias, unacknowledged bias, implicit bias, or unconscious bias. And those biases do show up in work. So, and here's just another graph that I like to use is that oftentimes we mix. Yes, companies, like when you run companies, even at home, whatever, in family, when there's a conflict, when there's an issue, we often connect or glue that issue with that person. It becomes you are the loser. It's your fault. What this graph actually shows is that let's separate the issue away from that personality, away from that person. Address the issue separately. And going back to what I was saying, the story I shared earlier. How can we validate people around me, our employees? Instead of labeling my project manager that you're just being lazy, you're not working hard enough, you're not professional enough. Because I label him with the issue. So the way that we can do this, have empathy in the work, is what I like to say adaptive leadership. It's a form of leadership that I am aspire to, I'm continuing to work toward to be better at. And part of why adaptive leadership, because especially nowadays, things change so fast. We need to learn how to adapt. We need to learn how to shift gears. And nowadays, things are getting more complex with technologies. At the same time, do you know what's the difference between complexity and complicated? Any of you know the difference? Yes, please.
Complex is a lot of pieces, complicated.
but it doesn't have to be complicated. We make things complicated. So another thing about adaptive leadership is how can we inspire? How can we support our employees? How can we support each other? And part of this, how to become adaptive leadership is support. I'm going to just focus on support. Supportive leadership is how can we engage all people and protect all voices. Again, I really want to emphasize protect all voices. When my employee came up to me and complained or mentioned to me on certain thing happened, how can I honor, respect that instead of just saying that, no, you're overreacting. You're being too emotional. So, and this is just an empathy, a chart that I borrowed. Why do we want to validate? Because a lot of time we don't know what they are going through. You know, the iceberg that sunk the Titanic, we can only see what's going on outside. A lot of time we don't know what's going on. Right? They might just have bad days. Something might happen to their family. You name it. Physical, emotional, right? Trauma. Therefore, that's why it's so important to really hear them out first, to go deeper. And how can we do that? How can we do that? So I'm just, for the last 5-10 minutes, I'm going to show you this set of tools that I put together. 10 minutes? Okay, perfect. That I put together based on research and based on other people that have inspired me. So I'm going to go through this really fast. Know thyself, meaning that understand your own insecurities. Understand where you come from. Understand your history, your trauma, your triggers. The more you understand who you are, the easier, the better you can work with other people. All right. In the past, when people told me that, oh, I must be good with math, but I'm not good enough to be in leadership. Why? Because the racist stereotype of Asian that we are soft-spoken, we're not good enough to be in leadership. 10, 15 years, I would get so mad. It would trigger me. I would lash out. I would fight or flight. I would shut down. Now I know that this is one of my triggers, one of my insecurities. People will make fun of my accent. In the past, I would be so ashamed. Now I work on myself. I embrace who I am. The more I know myself, so people can say whatever, I still can hold my ground. Not only hold my ground, I can articulate and react better. Something you're in a leadership position, more people are going to go to you and challenge you. And this is a must. This is a must. And we give another example. When I was running that construction company, I'm the one that's signing everyone's checks, right? And one of my employees dared to come in and make fun of my food. One day I just decided I was just craving for fried rice, right? I just brought some fried rice. And he literally said, is there any roadkill? They're the stereotype. They're right? I could fire him at that spot. I took a deep breath. I did reprimand him. I did explain to him that it's not cool. And we have that relationship. In fact, he worked even harder afterwards. So if I just react, lash out, we would lose a learning opportunity right there. So this is the first step. Second one, listen carefully. To really, really listen. Pay attention to their cultural identities and backgrounds, right? Oftentimes, we have to. This is have to. Everyone is different. Everyone's unique. We all have our stories. We all have our trigger, trauma, you name it, history. So sometimes we need to really just take a deep breath, step back and listen. Read between the lines. So I have a trivia about listening. I'm going to show you, I'm going to ask you a question. You tell me, spit out a number. How many words average Americans speak per minute? Give me a number. 70, 30. 120. How do you know?
I don't know.
Yeah. 100, you are the first one ever guessed it. Everyone, most people would say 120 or 130, but on average, 125. What is the mental capacity to understand someone speak per minute? What's the max mental capacity that we can hear up to a minute? 30, 60. I'm talking about potential, 80, 300, 300, 400 words. When it's quiet, everything, we can hear up to, again, this is in English. The study is based on English. 400 words per minute. Here's the biggest question. How many words average people actually hear and absorb per minute? 30, 16, 10, 60. What? Huh? 75. Again, I'm not good with math, but I think you all can do some math here, right? Yes, please.
Said in English, so is it different for different foreign languages?
I don't know.
Okay,
This is a study based on Cleveland clinics. So they only study in American English speakers. So that I don't know. But thank you for the question. Yeah. So yeah, why we not listening? Oftentimes we are so distracted, right? We're so distracted and we are thinking about comebacks. That's why I highly recommend take a deep breath and listen. Studies have shown that in a workplace, on average, when people speak, employees speak, they interrupt each other between 12 to 15 minutes. And talking about sexism in the workplace, female workers, women, employees, they get interrupted between 7 to 9 seconds, no matter what position they are, leadership or front desk, 7 to 9 seconds. So yeah. All right. Next one, curiosity. That's the best way to help us to listen more by asking questions. Never assume. And the fourth one is what I call managing your emotions. This is what I call emotional intelligence. Understand. Do you remember the first one? Know yourself. And the more you can know yourself, the better you can manage your reactions. We can be angry and frustrated at the same time, be supportive. You seen that employee that made fun of my food. Was I pissed at him? Yes. But at the same time, I have to take a deep breath, manage my emotion, and be the leader. Be the leader, the supportive leader, and use this as education opportunity. So you can have multiple emotions at the same time. And the last one is action. I just really want to emphasize that honor people's dignity. We have to honor people's dignity. By not putting them down, how can we elevate people? This is something I always should think about. How can we elevate each other, not putting each other down? So these are the 5 action tools. So any questions for me? So this kind of concludes my presentation. Oh, awesome. Thank you.
What a great presentation. If anybody has any questions, we've got a mic here so that Jared can answer them. Sheila?
Actually, mine's more of a comment. I really appreciated the way you spoke about talking to that gentleman and how the relationship improved in the work productivity and after that conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
One of the thoughts that occurred in some of the stuff we do with the nonprofit is who defines you? Do I define you or do you define me?
Yeah.
So listening to you, I know myself, I can't speak for you exactly, but I've let other people define me at different periods of my life. And then I said, wait a minute, I'm okay. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You're entitled to your opinion and I'm all right.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Just an interesting self-observation, really. you were bringing up these points. And during that time, I was thinking, if I was having coffee with JR, I was off thinking a response to each of those, or another thought tangential to that. And I think I would have interrupted you a whole bunch of times in that coffee session. And then you said you were talking about the interruption. Oh, yeah, that would be me. And then you were also thinking, people are always thinking their feedback. Oh, that is me. So I thought that was brilliant. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, here's the last one.
I'm just fascinated about the words per minute stuff. And I'm curious if we can absorb 75 words per minute. Do you think if we spoke only 75 words per minute, everything would be absorbed? Or do you think if we spoke only 75 words per minute, people would absorb less because they're not being like started with so many?
So from the research that I read is that, yes, we absorb 75 words. So if you spoke 75 words, that's what I average here. And in reality, we could hear more, but we just so distracted internally and externally. But thank you for the question. Yeah.
Another round of applause for
Yeah. Thank you. And this is my contact information and my services. Please feel free to reach out.
Yes, if you have any more questions, go to coffeewithjr.com. Some really great ideas and thoughts to think about for your business today. Thank you, JR. And here's Allison with your announcement for VHS events.
So, well, everybody, we just squeeze in the third Thursday of this month. We did not be having a meeting, so we're not coming. But we do have our holiday party. So if you'd like to join us, that's going to be December 14th. It's a Wednesday night.
Awesome. Thank you.
Kitchen, kind of hold back, kind of near the Harvard place up there. From 5 to 7 on the 14th. We're going to be on our Facebook page and our meetup. We always have kind of our help us here as well as restaurant. And we also have, if anybody is interested in joining us on board, we have several open positions. We are going to have a longer board next month. That is December 19th, 10 a.m. You can reach out to me if you want to hear more about what's available, but we're going to make that Monday.